Hey everyone, and welcome to a video about money. Because as we all know, money makes the world go round. And as you can see on the thumbnail, this is about Hank Brennan, the special prosecutor in the Karen Reed case, because we are now getting some figures on how much he was paid to lose a trial. Hank Brennan, the special prosecutor in Karen Reed's second trial, was paid more than $500,000 in legal fees alone by the taxpayer. He's paid $566,000 so far, from November 1st to June 8th. And that doesn't include any payments to experts, outside investigators, or outside evidence testing. Brennan charged $250 an hour. That's actually quite low. And they go over the case. Jurors acquitted Reed of second-degree murder, manslaughter while operating under the influence and leaving the scene. She was convicted of driving under the influence. So, nothing. And Brennan released a statement saying he was disappointed in the verdict and the fact that we couldn't achieve justice for John O'Keefe and his family. But I'm pretty sure you're not disappointed in your trip to the bank. $566,000 for an OUI. That figure alone is absurd. We know from the Vanity Fair article, Karen Reed is millions of dollars in the hole. Somewhere between 5 and 10 millions for those two trials. So how much is $566,000 for you taxpayers in the grand scheme? Well, first of all, you have a DA's office. So why do you have to go and get special prosecutor Hank Brennan? Anyone who watched the first and the second trial, they have to agree Brennan wasn't better than Lally. I actually think Lally did better in closing than Hank Brennan did. I know all the weirdos on the other side claims, well, Hank Brennan is a genius, but because of Turtle Boy influenced the jury. Well, let me tell you something, brother. If Hank Brennan is the biggest, smartest defense attorney turned special prosecutor in the world, he let the jury be filled with anti-cop, stupid people, whatever you call them. Because if you don't know, we had days of choosing the jury. Every juror came in, filled out a questionnaire. Hank Brennan actually asked that he could do more background checks than you're normally allowed to, and was granted. They did the same at the first trial. We went through almost 1,000 potential jurors, and I think 600 in the first trial, or maybe it's vice versa. But you're telling me that out of all of these close to 2,000 people, both Lally and Hank Brennan are so bad at their job that they let 36 people, 2 times 18, 36 people who were influenced by Turtle Boy, they let them come on the jury. Either Hank Brennan is the smartest prosecutor in the world, or he's the dumbest. You can't be a little bit pregnant. If he didn't find out that Paula wasn't even a U.S. citizen, so she couldn't be on the jury. One of their theories, that the jury foreman didn't listen to one word and was not smart enough to figure it out. Another one of their theories. If Hank Brennan let these people on the stand, he's not the smartest person in the world. He's the dumbest, because he picks the jury, not the defense. They both have equal amount of strikes, and he was fine with this jury. So $566,000 for the dumbest prosecutor in the world, or $566,000 because the DA wanted to try a case he couldn't win. But Hank Brennan isn't the only one getting paid in this case. We know Aperture is another $400,000 plus a Lexus. I would love a FOIA request to find out who bought that Lexus and at what price from Aperture when they finished their testing of it. Hopefully no one connected to the company. But that's $1 million. Then we have figures from the first trial that shows the payroll. The high-profile Karen Reed murder trial ran the Massachusetts State Police hundreds of thousands of dollars in cost, largely in overtime pay. Everyone gets overtime, as uniformed troopers provided security outside of the court. Ted Daniels had this article last year. Total pay on regular hours, $50,000. Total overtime pay, $208,000. A combined $258,000 just for the police who staffed the courthouse. The data shows troopers was paid 806 overtime hours for blah, blah, blah. Troopers were stationed. Fine. Everything is okay. But troopers and civilian employees were also paid more than $9,000 for the time they spent testifying during the trial and for their preparation, the data shows. Michael Proctor, the lead investigator assigned to the Reed murder case, was paid $835.90 for his time on the stand and $313.46 for his prep work. That's probably his last paycheck. So $1 million for Brennan and Aperture, let's say 300,000, so we can all do it in our head. 300,000 for the cops staffing the courthouse, $10,000 for testimony. This time around, I think the staffing of the courthouse was $350,000. So we are at more than $1.5 million to have two cases, to lose a murder case and ending up with an OUI. How the people of Massachusetts are not revolting, I don't understand. How Michael Morrissey is still the DA, I don't understand. The incompetence of using taxpayer money that the DA's office have shown should remove him as ever being the DA again. And just as a little twist, remember Aidan Carney's case? They have two special prosecutors in that case, Mello and Father Time, who speaks so slowly no one can understand him. How much do they cost? How much does it cost to send Bukaki and his half-mast in his tight pants out to harass people looking for rubber duckies? Remember when Helena Rafferty wanted a new kitchen costing $300,000 or something for the police office? If you ran your DA's office and your police like a normal business, you had tons of money. The problem is you were in this only to get vengeance and to protect the McAlberts. 1.5 million is the lowball payment for the two Karen Reed trials. We're probably north of $2 million when you get all the lab work, all the testing, all the experts, because Aperture is one. How much did the weirdo Celebrite guy get? How much did Miss Hyde get? Remember it when it becomes tax day, or when you hit a pothole, or when someone won't come look at the house you had broken into because they don't have money. This is how Massachusetts spend their money.